Welcome to DOS Won't Hunt. I'm Jean-Pierre Ruth for Information Week, and in today's episode, we will be talking about the impact of AI on career skilling and career advancement. And in today's episode, I'm going to be joined by Matias Madou, CTO and co-founder of Secure Code Warrior, Tony Aurigemma, Chief Revenue Officer with Anomali, Ed Frederici, CTO of Appfire. We're going to be looking at this particular topic is lending off of a report that Information Week has done on our salary survey report that asked respondents, some of their thoughts on different aspects of their career areas and what's going on. And a good number of them noted that having AI skills on the resume definitely was something that was attractive, for hiring or potentially career, elevation. But surprisingly, in the day-to-day, even though AI skills were part of what was on the resume or just like speaking to that being something that was sought after, the day-to-day jobs that they were doing, they found that soft skill areas were something that, like in more actual regular practice, they found that to be something that was just more commonly used. So we're going to try to talk about whether or not there's like a lot of buzz and flash around the idea of having professionals who have skills that are, associated with AI, and what that actually means and where that actually goes towards doing their work and their potential career advancement. So, gentlemen, thank you all so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
So Matias, let's start with you. When we talk about the idea of just saying AI skills, and if you can please, if you want to even put in the context of your work at Secure Code Warrior, what are your thoughts about what that actually means? What are AI skills?
So AI skills. So first of all, with Secure Code Warrior, we help developers in writing secure code. But I actually would like to start with my son. He is trying to get his head around chemistry, and he's doing that on his own. And he was trying to figure that out by use of ChatGPT, and he couldn't do that. So for me, really getting to the crux of it was him being able to ask the right questions and being able to interact with those systems to get the right information out of the system. In light of Secure Code Warrior, for me, AI skills is very similar. If we think about the broad population, developers, well, over there, a lot of them will use AI to bounce off ideas and get information back. What is super important is that those developers are, of course, skilled, because the answer that comes back, they need to figure out, will I use that or will I not use that? Is that a secure solution? Am I able to copy paste that into my code, and will that lead to secure code? Or should I update that code and make a couple changes and tweaks over here so that it is essentially a secure piece of code that you add to your code base? Interestingly, for me, if I'm thinking about AI, well, if you think about ChatGPT, and if you're an expert in the field and you ask ChatGPT a question, you get an answer and you're like, well, it's half correct and I can fix it up, and I'm gonna change it here and there. So you know exactly what the answer should be and you can fix it up and you see the problem. If you do not know a particular field and you ask ChatGPT a question, you're gonna take the answer for granted. You're gonna say, I do not know any better, so I'm just gonna take the answer for granted. And to me, the question is, when do you ask ChatGPT a question? When you know your field or when you do not know your field? Quite often it is when you do not know your field. So it's for me super interesting. When do you use these AI systems, these generative AI systems, if you're skilled, if you're not skilled, and then being able to figure out what to use from the answer and what not to use from the answer.
Gotcha. Great. Thank you very much for that. Ed, so when you think of the idea of AI skills, what does that mean to you, and what does that mean for Appfire?
So for Appfire, just to provide context, we extend and connect platforms like Salesforce, Atlassian, Monday.com. And so when we think about AI skill set, what we're thinking about is the understanding of the science and the models and the technology that makes up AI, on which you can build feature set, then the application of that understanding to create a practical, truly usable, value-added piece of feature, okay? And so it's really on the engineering side that we see it, where you can take everything that you know about AI and the different engines and models that are out there, and then create a feature that is meaningful for someone to use. So we really do it in the context of feature development and client impact.
Gotcha. Great, great. Thank you for that. Tony, over at Anomali, what are your thoughts for what AI skills mean and how that is part of what an Anomali's mission is?
Yeah, so Anomali, for the audience, we're an AI-powered security operations platform, and our approach here is to leverage AI in the art of threat detection and mitigation. A lot of that, historically has been required to do with a lot of hard coding and a lot of proprietary knowledge of particular tools. And so what we're in the art of doing is leveraging AI to do that in the form of natural language and allowing security analysts to interact and engage with their security data and their log data to actually do threat hunting and identification without a lot of those proprietary skills. It's interesting. I like what Matias talked about, because one of the things that we focus on is a lot of times what they're leveraging analysts today is, kind of general tools like ChatGPT to go ask questions. The fidelity of those answers can vary wildly. And if you're in the art of protecting an organization based on that, where you're taking some big risks. So a lot of what we focus on is how do we reduce, whether you consider it hallucinations or less fidelity in the responses that you get. So we're in the art of doing that out of the box, but it does still require a lot of skill for the analyst to understand how to work with AI tools, how to set the right parameters, how to understand what's coming back. So it's interesting from our perspective that we're both trying to lower that barrier, but there's still a lot of skills that are necessary just to understand what you're getting back from those AI tools and how to augment them and kind of go to the next set of questions, if you will.
Great, great. Thank you for that. Matias, I hope you can lead us off in response to this question. And we've already kind of touched on this, but early on with the popularity and publicity with generative AI, people talking about how it can help augmenting code and plugging in something that you've already touched on. Is it enough? Because there are times where I hear folks talking about the AI can carry some of the load and turn citizen developers help augment them. Is that enough to say that somebody who is maybe a little bit less technical, that they can work with an AI tool to say that they have AI skills, or is it really trying to get at that developer who's found ways to with their technical skills really weave in how the AI can augment that? What are your thoughts?
Well, there's a couple things I would like to touch on here. So first of all, what we've seen is that people that are really skilled, that know their stuff, they go faster by using AI. They know how to ask the right questions. They know what to pick as answers, pick the couple things as answers that they want to use in their code. So they essentially go faster. What we've also seen that developers that are not so skilled with AI, they become dangerous because they just copy paste things into their code without knowledge, and they just go really, really fast. But they're actually really, really dangerous because it will lead to a lot of rework. It will lead to a lot of work down the stream, maybe even years from now, when these particular bad patterns, bad coding pieces bubble up. So that's one answer in regards to technical profiles. At the same time, I think we all know that AI is going to help all of the people, not only developers, but also in marketing, wherever you are, you will be able to use specialized AI workers. So if you're in marketing, that can be image generation, for example. In technology for developers is more going to be around code generation, as a buddy, as a pairing buddy, fixing things, AI fixers. So I'm a big fan of that. But again, in the hands of experienced people, in the hands of knowledgeable people, I think that's going to really help the world. In the hands of non-experienced people, that's going to be pretty dangerous.
Gotcha. Tony, when you're looking at the use of AI skills in organizations, is this something that you're seeing that is, really more collected and siloed within the technical aspects of the organization's operational roles, or technical roles, or are we starting to see kind of a sense that other aspects of operations are, starting to understand that, or starting to see how AI is going to be part of, what they're doing? Or is it still kind of is it more of like, I hate to say, window dressing for roles that are outside of the technical area right now, because that's what we're all talking about. So everyone's like, quick, we got to say that I can work with AI, but it's like, but you're in this kind of like aspect where, I don't know, baking cookies or whatever it is within the organization that might not be as technical. What are your thoughts?
Well, let me talk about it from, my day job as a sales and go-to-market leader. It's very prevalent across everything that we do. And Matias touched on it. If you're a marketing expert today, whether you're doing content, web development, demand generation, you have to have AI skills. And most of them, yes, you're not going in and worrying about coding on how you develop, but how you interact and leverage the tools. So I look at it as there are sort of big AI engines that are out there in roles like go-to-market, where there are very AI specific tools, and we leverage them in Anomali. And I look for people to bring in those skills. Knowing how to use AI writing skills, how to use AI tools to do prospecting. But a lot of the tools that we're already used to using inside of go-to-market and sales are developing AI capabilities within them. So for example, in our sales enablement platform, and how I develop the skills of my account executives and solution engineers on how to engage with customers, prospect, talk about what we do, I leverage the AI. So we do recordings with them. We record the calls with the customers, and we actually train the AI to listen to those conversations and feed back to them what they're covering. Are they sequencing the message in the right way? Are they even using the right tone? And in order to get that right, it requires my enablement team to know how to set up the AI parameters within that, because the system needs to know what you care about, right? So those skills become really important. That's just, one example of many different things across that. So I see it in my everyday life, and it's almost every week now that we're adding some kind of AI element into things like that.
Sure. Great. Thank you for that. Ed, when there's a potential candidate for maybe elevation, or maybe taking on more responsibility, maybe new hire, and the idea of AI skills are part of that kind of equation potentially, what are some elements of those AI skills that can really help them like stand out or like catch attention? Because part of me wonders that if we just kind of like just say AI skills, that the AI skills aspect can be potentially kind of generic if they're just saying, well, everyone's got, that particular set of AI skills. How does that then stand out? What are your thoughts in terms of somebody talking about AI skills as relevant to somebody being a standout performer? What can help make them really kind of differentiate themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it goes to what's already been said a little bit, is it's the application of AI to enhance what you're doing, and it's proportionate to your skill set. So if you're an entry-level developer, an advanced developer, what we really look for is someone who's done something concrete and not theoretical or academic. If you go back to when people were moving to the cloud for the first time and doing lift and shift of on-prem to cloud, you had a lot of people who had taken the AWS classes, who have done academic things, but hadn't actually done it in practice. So when we talk to a candidate that does have an AI experience or background, we want to know the specificity of what they did. What was the outcome that they produced? What did they do besides use a generic model, right? So it's that intelligent application of AI to a problem set that really produces an outcome versus having a generic, broad understanding of what AI is.